About a year ago, in January, I had a friend who's leading a plant ceremony, and I've done many of those in the past. But the message for me was that my path is to continue to open up to more love. I understand my power and the limits of my power in the world. I think I'm pretty good at how I handle my influence ethically. I'm always in the game of influencing people.
Yeah.
So I'm always learning, but what was clear for me was that love is where I could learn more at this
Mm.
stage of my life and less about the feeling of being loved. I love you, I love this. like more of the presence of love that is greater than I am. And I've come to know what it's like to be in that presence and how confronting and powerful it is, and also how I can avoid it or run away from it. When I saw your invitation, I was like, there's something bold about your invitation too, right? And I was like, okay, so what is it that I would want, knowing that you have a lot of gifts and a courageous spirit and you're very good at clarifying things with people? That's the thing that came to mind. It's
Mm.
also bigger than just my relationship with my wife. It's with my mom, with my daughter, with women in general, but it's also with life. The last few years, everything kind of internal compass wise is pointing me towards surrendering more to love, trusting the journey and surrendering to that.
I love the distinction you're making between feeling in love and then this larger force, we'll call it. And also the fact that for you, it feels that it's really powerful and big and confronting and maybe even tests your control. That's something that I'm hearing underneath the surface almost is I think you said surrendering just a minute ago. Okay, so that means that control is no longer allowed to some degree. Maybe not allowed, but like control would perhaps be surrendered. And what would that mean? I wonder if there's anything in that for you. What's
Yeah.
your relationship like with control?
Well, I'm very aware of how control is an illusion, and yet there's still an unconscious drive to want to control that I try to make conscious and
Mhm.
work with all the time, like when I'm holding the rudder too tight. I know
Mm.
ultimately I don't have any control
Mm.
about almost anything. I have choice. I have ability to influence in a small way something that the world around me.
Mm.
So I know that deep down. I have a lot of experience in that, but yet I still catch myself trying to control. Yeah.
Mm. But is that really the sticking point then?
No, I think it's something else. I think that's something I'm always working with. The thing you ask me what the sticking point is, where's the shadow, and what am I going to say? I'm going to say the things that I'm aware of.
Of course.
So I don't know. I hesitate to try to even answer it
I
directly.
like this question though, because
Yeah.
it sometimes gets rid of the superficial stuff. So if you could know, what would you say?
I think there's a couple of things. One is a loss and losing everyone that I love and care about, and in some way or other. And I think the other thing is about something around face, losing the image that I'm trying to hold sometimes, or shattering people's expectation of who I'm supposed to be for them, that I've agreed to in the past to be.
Because I'm thinking like what would be the opposite of those two things you just said? I was tapping into my body. Like if I wasn't afraid of loss, or if I wasn't afraid or concerned with losing face, both of those things to me would feel like I'm free. Like I would be very free. I would feel a kind of relief if I could fall through the floor of those things and feel still okay.
Mhm.
So there seems to be almost a kind of like relationship between freedom and love in this sense. And we're speaking in terms of very big concepts too. It's very existential, it's very philosophical, but it also has really strong impact on what happens day to day in your life too. So to just come back down to ground, if you weren't afraid of those two things that you just mentioned, loss or losing face, what would that actually change in your life? Like what would happen? What would be different?
I can feel the edges of that freedom that you describe.
Mm.
I feel like relief and freedom. But I also anticipate or brace myself like, I would piss people off more and I would disappoint people more often. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I'm
So it's about others.
sensing. Yeah, it's about, I feel like I'm honest in all my relationships, but I'm honest in a kind of slow, gentle, I get there way instead of I could be more direct and quick about it. Like right now, I have a few relationships that I have to renegotiate collaborations. If I was a little more honest up front, I think I could have saved time and a little actual disappointment. Things have changed and become different than what I want. And I'm still going to have those hard conversations. I'm still going to be in integrity at the end of the day. But if I was, yeah, if I was less afraid of losing people and having them be disappointed in me, I would just say it sooner and just let it spill out of my mouth and deal with it right away. Not
Yeah.
not wait to try to find the right moment and craft it in the gentlest way.
That seems like you just landed on a way to walk the talk and to live your yearning. Because what I heard and felt when you came on just now was a yearning to surrender into love and really the faith in love and the trust in love, that there's something deeper holding me, that if I let go of some of my adaptive and completely understandable methods of achieving control, if I begin to let go of that, I am actually yearning for that. That would be really nice. But there's these old ways we all have of protecting ourselves. And so here's an example. Here's a direct in your life example of where you might begin to embody that. And like you said, you'll still be in integrity. It's not like there's a huge breach. However, you said you wanted more. So to step into more would be to step into this risk or this more direct, powerful, and loving stance, right? What comes up for you as I lay that out?
Feels really congruent and like a deepening commitment to that. I'm already committed to that, but it would be sooner and it would be less veiled and it would be more, even more transparent with people I love. More upfront as opposed to now I'm telling you because frustrated. I'm telling you ahead of time because I know what I want right away. That would save a lot of grief and it would give me a lot of energy that would liberate a lot of energy to be like, let's just have fucking fun. And if you don't find it fun, that's please let me know. But I'm gonna show up and get what I came here to get and give what I came here to give.
Yeah. And it strikes me that it's more loving actually that way because the way that you comport yourself will remain highly courteous and civil and devotional and for the highest good. You'll be always in your heart. So when you come to a conversation bringing your heart open, you are giving the other person the gift of the truth. And
Mm.
then they can decide if they want to play or not. And also, it just feels like if a person came to me like that, I would have a lot of trust and respect, even if I decided that actually this relationship, we do need to like change the structure of it or what have you, or the vision you have isn't going to work for me. At least now we know. So having all of that transparency creates, I think, that is the most loving way to approach.
Yeah, you're right. I have people in my life who show me how to do that just every day. And when I don't do that or people don't do that with me, I feel more anxious and concerned, like something's not fully spoken here, right? Yeah.
So it sounds like you know this already, though. And
Yeah.
so if you know it, then what would prevent you from embodying it or having it be a clear, just part of your identity that was no longer a question?
It's just I think the feelings of grief and disappointment that I'm still carrying.
From past times or,
I think I spent a lot of time growing up learning that my needs were not important and I had to be selfless. And you get a lot of kudos for being selfless. You
yeah.
get a lot of pride and joy from sacrifice, and there's a lot of honor in that
Mhm.
and recognition for that. Yeah, so there's that kind of like subtle remnants of that. Or if I'm going to get my needs met, I have to be really good at helping everyone else at the table get theirs met too. Like leaders eat last. You've got to
Right.
make sure everyone's fed, and then yeah, I'll get mine for sure. I'm not going to starve. But instead of just saying, "Hey, I need this,"
Yeah.
letting people deal with that.
Yeah. I know it's so interesting. Like we can know that putting on our own oxygen mask first is what we're supposed to do. But when we have these very primal, existential survival patterns and adaptations, really they come from when we're younger. They get set up for a very good reason so that we can survive. We intuit that this is the game we're playing. These are the rules. We need to follow these rules so that we survive, so that we get the love, so that we get the things that we need to keep going, even if that love is very contorted. So, where in your body does this show up? Imagine going off this call, finishing, and then being like, cool, I'm going to have that conversation. I don't know if that's logistically possible. It doesn't really matter. But imagine just that it was, that you could walk into a room immediately after and have the most highest priority of the conversations that are on the back of your mind. And you could just act this way. What comes up in your body immediately?
Like 2/3 of me is yes, let's do this. It's going to
Mm,
go great. This is the truth coming out. It'll serve the relationship to speak to the people that I need to speak to. And there's more of a thrust to do that. I'd say 1/3 of me has that reaction of, oh shit, oh no, they're going to get upset, withdraw. I'm not going to see them for a while. They're going to be really disappointed. And somehow this is going to become a barrier in our relationship. So there's a kind of like a pinching around that, knowing that needs to happen and this is good. So I feel both of those impulses.
And isn't it fascinating that you can feel both at the same time?
Yeah.
Is there a center in your body? Is there a place where each of them live, or are they blended together? Or you mentioned a pinching. There's a pinching.
Yeah. First isn't an impulse. First is a kind of a whole body kind of knowing.
Yeah, yeah,
It's time. We got to talk.
yeah. A welling up.
This needs to happen. This is good for both of us. Let's do this. And
Nice.
the
Yeah,
generative kind of expansive
yeah.
place that I can step into. The the second one is more of a tightening in my gut and in my face around here. And it's a kind of a that's trying to like, let's do this later, or let's be really careful with our words, how we're gonna do it.
Right.
It's like that. Yeah.
Interesting. So there you are bringing awareness to it in this exact moment. And
Yeah.
and you are therefore are not it. You're like with it. It's experiencing
Yeah.
itself inside of you, but you're healthily observing. It made me think about attachment wounds, like you described that. Just like the fear of abandonment, rejection, of difficulty, something that's irreparable somehow and existential, therefore. And I feel like that's completely understandable. It's just like
Mm.
it's this younger side of us that had to do that in order to get our needs met. And the reason why I wanted to see if I could locate it or you could in your body is because I don't know, this is how I work, but if I can find, I carry tension often like in my diaphragm if I'm nervous. And sometimes if I work less for myself effectively if I try to go back in my imagination and talk to my younger self. Sometimes it happens, but
Mm.
it seems to help me better if I'm just like, oh yeah, he's getting a little tight there, and that's where it's coming. So it's like, I'm
It's
gonna
like
take
the
that
anchor in your body, right? Yeah.
exactly. I'm gonna take that deep breath in and expand that area. Because that was the other thing that you mentioned was that expansion. It's just
Mhm.
such an interesting mirror our body, what our body does. When you're first talking about going toward that 2/3 and
Mhm.
you're doing this, and it's almost like you became a son for a second. And
Mhm.
then also this. So I have full faith that you actually are going to have these conversations.
I know I am. Yeah.
And so I would just say pay attention to your body
Yeah.
before. Because when you're being like this, it made me feel like I was looking at a sun of love, right? Because there is this energy that we bring when we're in that place of expansiveness. and openness and inquiry and compassion and
Mm,
curiosity. And at the same time, here I'm going to be transparent with you about what's happening,
mm,
about what I would like to create, about what I would like to make happen. And I am curious about what you would like. So it is annoying, an annoying part of this reality that we have to go towards these fears that we've carried. But what I'm trying to make clearer here is that even though fear is our invitation into expansion and we have to move into it, there is also a way to do that's still soft, that's still open, that's still
mm.
compassionate to ourselves. Does that feel at
Yeah.
all possible?
Yeah, I've got two thoughts on that. One is internally, I can hold that part of me that's scared and just like a little, he's like a younger self, and just reassure him that no matter what happens, even if that person's angry and walks away, it says, I don't want to talk to you for a while. That's okay. We're living in our truth and we're bringing the truth out of love. And things change, and if you don't speak your truth, then the relationship does get more stale and less alive. So
Mhm.
this is what we need to do. And yeah, no matter what happens, I got you. And then the other thing I got inspired listening to you just now is like I can bring that also into the conversation, being open, curious, listening, sharing
Mhm.
for the greater good. But I can also acknowledge, yeah, and I'm also afraid that by telling this person that I'm changing my plans with the work that we're doing, I know it's going to impact them. I know I want to make room for them to be upset and disappointed. And I'm also nervous about that.
Yeah.
Because I don't like disappointing my friends. And it's always a test too. Like I've had so many people in my life where these kinds of moments of honesty really, you discover how strong the relationship really is and how resilient that person is. Are they willing to like work through
Mhm.
stuff if they have stuff, or are they going to run away? And I really can't, that's the part that I try to control or I try to manage all of my skill. And it's like, no, I don't want to do that work anymore.
Mm.
I'm gonna speak the truth out of love. And if they want to run away and I won't see them for 2 years, that was gonna happen eventually. It was just something that I only can do my part.
Yeah. That feels freeing to me when I hear you speak. Yeah. And isn't it great to know who's really your ride or die?
Yeah, yeah,
Because then you really know we've got something here.
yeah.
Like we've got something really solid here. And also, you open yourself to them bringing the same energy to you
Mm,
and creating a new possibility of honesty, but an honesty that is completely safe
mm,
and is not going to lead to emotionality that will become uncontained. By demonstrating this, your openness and your honesty and your willingness, you will invite the same by example and demonstrate, yeah, this is how I want to be in relationship with the people who are most important to me, closest to me.
mm.
I think, like you said earlier, a lot of things can be avoided, a lot of time can be saved, which is ultimately more loving.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like the truth sometimes is like a sword. And I want my sword to be sharp so that it cuts clean, doesn't infect people with something or doesn't feel blunt. If I have to say it and I know it's going to hurt, I want to do it with as much precision and care as I can. Yeah.
Do you feel you have the tools to do that?
I feel like, yeah, I do. That's the humbling part is to have sometimes having the tools and then still struggling with it. Decades of teaching it and preaching it still be really scary. And yeah. But I feel like I have the tools.
It's like the rest of life. Use it or lose it. Like we have our swords. If we don't keep them sharp, then they get rusty. So it's interesting how you've taught these things for decades and you've spent a lot of time learning them because the wound becomes the gift. That's what I've found in my life. Like the things that I didn't have or I didn't get or that weren't there, I needed to learn. I needed to really learn for myself. And then that becomes part of your service. But it doesn't let you off the hook. of your own stuff because you still have to use them with yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens now? What do you do next?
I've got three, maybe four conversations that I've been walking up to.
Hmm.
I feel less afraid and more of that sense of relief and freedom. And I just actually need to reach out to all of those people and say, let's talk tomorrow, let's talk Saturday, let's talk Monday. Book
Hmm.
it in the calendar. I could try to not weasel out of it, but I could just send them a long message to explain.
Hmm.
But I think my closest relationships, they deserve the face to face, and I want them to have space to respond, not to here's the
Hmm.
message and I run away.
Totally.
I could do that. I could easily do that, but
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, that would be perhaps an old way of doing it, but not
yeah,
the way that is most integral.
it's also the last few years I've had a few close people in my life ghost,
Mm.
and it's just so fucking painful to know someone's upset about something. But I have no fucking clue, and I'm not a mind reader. I think I'm very astute and I can guess, but I'm not a mind reader, and I'm not ch about chasing people. And then I finally saw them 3 years later, and they still haven't reconciled. So it's I can't trust you.
Right.
You say we're good, but 2 years, 3 years ago, you just disappeared. I don't have space for that.
Yeah.
I have space for honesty and struggle and messiness sometimes, but I don't have space for people who just check out and will not deliver their truth. So that's a reminder for me to walk that, to not give that to somebody else that I care about, to just give the truth.
Again, you're very clear about what your values are.
Yeah.
You're extremely clear. And this moment is just about calibrating back to those values at the 5-star level that
Yeah.
I hear you aspiring to. And it seems very possible. I love those words you said, honesty, struggle, and messiness, you being willing to be in that. And as you were speaking about going and having these conversations like this weekend, I was like, man, my next Tuesday, he's gonna just feel amazing because everything will be in the open. Honestly, like it could be a topsy-turvy weekend. The younger parts that we have to contain and make help feel safe could get riled up. Maybe we should talk about that. So when they come up, what will you do? Will it just be words? Will it be a body thing? What have you found works best to help that younger self who is afraid of disappointment, afraid of abandonment or rejection, to contain him or them or it? Like what has worked in the past? What do you go to? What do you teach, maybe?
It's funny, you can have all the tools, like so many tools in the toolkit, but it's like the practice of it, right? And these days, I find most powerful is I pray. And I pray to a masculine face of God and a feminine face of God. And I just bring it to them and I feel held.
Hmm.
I feel received. I feel like they give me the truth that I need at that moment. And I feel I can count on people in my life, but I can also count on that larger presence that's with me all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah. When I'm at my best, that's what I do. And I do that ahead of time. And if I forget or I just choose not to, then I do it eventually. But yeah, talking to you is really sh sharpening me to go, why make it harder? Why not just start there?
Yeah, simple prayer.
Yeah.
And as you're talking, it made me think, is it the same source that you encountered, like at the start you mentioned that you had this message come through in the ceremony that's basically
Yeah.
to more love. To me, it feels like the experiences I've had, same place, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so you might be able to just go there in the prayer and be like, hey, I'm here to make good on what you offered
Yeah.
as a potential path. Please help me. I'm ready. Or whatever works for you, whatever wording
Yeah.
to bring your heart. Because it's really about bringing your heart,
Yeah.
bring your unguarded heart in all the risk of that and all the potential of the past wounding being present, but really this is how we graduate
Mm.
because you're like, it's never going to happen any other time, is it? But in the moment where it's okay, now we're going to complete it. And
Mm.
I'm going to be the person that I needed that I didn't have back then. And
Mm.
I'm going to demonstrate that to myself that I can actually contain the risk of whatever may happen in this interaction in love. And I'm going to be able to show up in that. And that side of me is going to be able to hold that. So when you have your prayer, it's almost like you're appealing to, yeah, to a higher version of you, to God, to do that for you. It's awesome.
Mm.
Yeah. Is there anything else to be said? Do you have this?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really moved by what we're talking about. Love the way you just said it too. Like this is the way it has to be to revisit those wounds and to keep facing situations that keep bringing it up so that it can come forth. And yeah.
Yeah, I know sometimes after these kind of conversations for myself, sometimes I'm highly motivated to act.
Mm.
And yet I would just say if there is a side that feels pressure to drop the hammer, to just also create some gentleness around that too, because it is not a small thing to contain an existential fear, because that's basically what this is. It's a fear of if I show up bringing my heart and the truth of my heart. In the past, that was not allowed. If I was to do that, it would be existential. It would threaten my survival. And so to begin to move toward doing that, the skillful way, I believe, is to move, but to titrate it and allow a kind of gentle flow so that it does happen sustainably so that there isn't like flooding of your system or a
Yeah.
reaction to it of
Yeah.
going too fast.
Yeah.
So if you can do that, if it's very nuanced, it's very much like a Zen weaving. So if you can do that and just stay in contact with that younger self and also with the face of God, holding both, allowing this kind of forward motion to happen, but in a gentle way. Because I have never been to a jujitsu class, but I know for certain that you can't do well in that sport using force if you're forcing anything,
Yeah,
right?
especially since most of the people are younger and stronger than me physically. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a different
Yeah.
thing going on,
Yeah.
a different grace.
Yeah.
So just I would just say remember that you're dealing with a very young version of you. How would you treat a child?
Yeah. I think the other thing that's coming through right now, Noah, is your invitation is so inviting and powerful, is that I bring my truth and I don't know what's going to happen next. I really don't.
Yeah, all of
It
life.
just, yeah. And in jiu-jitsu, the same. I bow, I say yes, I want to learn, and then I don't know what's going to happen. I have skill and I have intention, but really, it's a dance. I'm going to discover. I'm going to learn something. That's my mantra these days is may I learn something from this. Yeah, and that's giving me more reassurance and ease rather than, oh, how can I make this work out just right and everyone's happy? No, I don't know. I don't know
Mhm.
what's going to happen, but I surrender to learning, bringing my truth and learning from the encounter that we're going to have.
Yeah, and it opens life. It expands life.
It does.
It seems like leaning into that allows life to happen. Have you read Alexander Lowen at all?
No,
So he came up with bioenergetics. And
I've heard of that. Yeah.
one of his books is called Fear of Life. And the idea that, for good reason, we're often afraid to expand into life because often these past parts of us see that as existential, as threatening our very existence. And so as we learn to see that as just a dynamic that subtly operates in our life, can be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna lean into it and gradually but gently disprove that
Mm.
fear of life. I think what you just said is exactly that overcoming of that fear because it's the willingness to learn and expand and see what happens and grow that allows you to take
Mm.
those steps. I can't get away from the fact that it seems like life requires us to move into the unknown. I wish it didn't sometimes. It would just be so nice if things could get solved. I heard somebody say once, people want what they want without having to change anything. They want to get what they want and not change anything at the same time. So that would be so good. And it seems to contradict very law
Right.
of reality.
Would it be so good? I think it
Exactly.
would get boring pretty fast. And I
Yeah.
think actually that's what happens in our Western culture is we're so consumed and comfortable. We get what we want when we want it, and then it's meaningless. There isn't a journey, there isn't a learning. There's just now I want more.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think we need to suffer, but I like the surprise part of it. The not knowing is actually intriguing.
Totally. Yeah.
This could go really bad, it could go really good, or it could be like a mixed thing that's what was that? And I don't really know till I step forward
Yeah.
and do my part. Yeah.
But that's the adventure of life. That's where life happens. That's where really it starts flowing. And you learn things and you find out important things about who's in your life and about yourself. And most of all, most probably you find out that you could handle it after all
Mm.
and that you were fine. The classic thing of, oh my God, I'm so afraid. And then you do the thing and you're
Mm.
like, huh, okay, I'm still here.
I could do other things like this. Huh.
Yeah, I could do more. And then they're like, hey, what other boundaries am I just
Oh,
assuming don't need to be pushed
oh my
in my
God.
life?
Yeah. That's how I felt 2 years ago when I started jiu-jitsu. I gave up having a black belt in Aikido. I was like worried about looking stupid, losing, and getting injured. And all of those happened every class. I got injured like 7 times in the first 2 months. I felt stupid, awkward. I don't know shit. I have 20 years of experience and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I got submitted so many times. Yeah, it's liberating to be on the other side of it and go, wow, yeah, I can't wait to see how the next class is going to go.
Totally.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah,
so much. This has been really, yeah, it's been recalibrating, sharpening, reaffirming, a deepening. That's how it feels. I really appreciate your guidance and your presence.
my pleasure. Thank you for expanding into life with me.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man, my pleasure.